Well, my name is Cliff Brooks. I have been a health and fitness person. I'm a coach. I'm a personal trainer, nutrition specialist. Kind of, I've been in health and fitness for over 25 years. My company is called Limitless Unlock Your Potential because I truly believe that the word potential, it should be a curse word because most people think when someone tells you, hey, you know what, you got a lot of potential. That to me means that you have the ability to be great, but you haven't lived up to it. So it's like a slap in the face. You've got potential, but you're not actually living up to it. So that's why I wanted to name my company that, to help people to bring out what's already inside of them.
Thank you for sharing that. Now, when you came in this morning, we were like, "What'd you have for breakfast?" And you're like, "Nothing." And I just wanted to talk about this because growing up, we were told as kids all the time, like, you before going to school, they're like, your parents are like, "Eat breakfast. It's the most important meal of the day." Teachers like always put that in our brains. Can you talk to me a little bit about why breakfast is actually not the most important meal of the day, if you don't mind?
Okay, so let's go back to growing up. They were telling you that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Remember the food pyramid where you had 6 to 9 servings of grain?
Yes,
Why do you think the United States is so overweight now?
because of that pyramid and the ideals we were instilled on as kids.
Yeah, it's all a lie. It's all, everyone's gonna think, oh, he's wearing a tinfoil hat. But it's not a tinfoil hat, it's the truth. You don't go from the 1960s, 1970s. You can look at old pictures of people at the beach, hardly anyone is overweight. Fast forward 50 years, 73% of the United States is overweight. That's 8 out of 10 people because you can't have zero point 0.3 of a person. So it's done intentionally. And take a step back and look at it, the companies that own the breakfast cereals, here, give your kid a bowl full of sugar, send them into school. So now they're bouncing all over the walls and now they aren't paying attention in class. Let's fill them full of medication so they'll calm down. Well, no, why don't you stop giving them sugar before they go to school? So if you take a step back and look at it, the same companies that own the processed foods are the same companies that own the big pharma. So if you look at it, they get you coming with all of the processed foods. They tell you the sugars. They tell you that fat is bad for you. Then they told you to start eating more carbs. And then the whole country just blew up in 50 years. That does not happen. If you go and this will probably get me in trouble, I don't care. If you go and take a look at where McDonald's, the map of where they have all their McDonald's on their international expansion, and then you superimpose the global obesity trends, do it and tell me what you see.
Oh God, I'm scared. I don't know.
You're going to see that the global obesity trends is where the
McDonald's.
United States has expanded. And you'll see that those places where we have those international restaurants, the fast
convenient
food,
places.
yes, the fast casual, they're going to be the ones where it's the hot spots of all of the world getting getting bigger and gaining weight.
Oh
So,
man, that was a loaded question. No, but thank you for sharing.
but the
That's
reason why I don't eat breakfast, because I went down my little rabbit hole, is because do intermittent fasting. So now, intermittent fasting, for those of you that do not know this, it's not a meal plan. It is a tool. A lot of people say, well, I'm using intermittent fasting. Well, that's great. You can use intermittent fasting if it fits your macros. You can use it with vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian, the Mediterranean diet, carnivore. It doesn't matter. All intermittent fasting is a time restriction. So the one that most people use is, let's say this is 24 hours of your day. Most people will eat for 8 hours and then they'll fast for 16 hours. So yes, this is going to cause you not to eat as many calories as if you were eating for 16 hours of the day. So yes, up to a point you will have some results. But if you're not changing the food that you're eating, if you're still hitting the drive-thrus, if you're still eating all the highly processed cakes and pies and stuff like that, they're good, don't get me wrong, but they're taking you away from your health and fitness goals. But if you were to still eat that in that 8 hours, you're going to, yes, lose weight because instead of eating for the full 16 hours, now you're eating for 8. So you're going to eat less calories. But unless you change and make sure you're eating the right amount of calories, the right amount of proteins, carbs, and fats, the right amount of vegetables, the vitamins and minerals, in that 8-hour window, you're going to hit a plateau because your body is literally made up of the food that you eat. You are what you eat.
Yes.
When your parents told you that growing up, it's the truth, because your body can only repair itself with the nutrition that you give it. So are you eating nutritious, real, healthy whole foods? Are you eating things that are fast and cheap, and then look in the mirror and you'll be able to tell yourself, maybe I should make some adjustments. Just because it's convenient, is it doing me favors?
Damn, I feel called out, but truth hurts.
The truth does. But first, the truth will piss you off, but then it will set you free.
Yeah.
Because everybody in your life is telling you that it's okay. Don't worry about it. You'll do it tomorrow. It's not a big deal. This is why mediocrity is running rampant in the United States, because there's so many people in your life that are telling you that not doing what you're supposed to is okay, but it's really not. So it's self-discipline. Mm-hmm. And self-discipline is the highest form of self-respect, because you're doing what you say you're going to do. And you know why most people don't have discipline, why they don't have self-respect? Because they don't keep their promises and their commitments to themselves. Mm. And if you want to increase, so the best way to change your body is to raise your standards.
AKA hit up Cliff.
That is 100% what I will hold you to. But what I'm talking about is, like, take a look. People tell me all the time, obesity runs in my family. No, it really doesn't. And here's what runs in your family: the habits, the patterns, the low standards that your grandparents, to your parents, to you, to your kids, it's all been passed down. Have you seen those families where everybody's overweight and then one person says, I'm not going to be like that, and their entire family tree, a new branch, is healthy and fit? It's because they made a decision that they were not going to live through the same habits, patterns, and standards. Yeah. They were going to change that because they don't like what was going on in their family, so they weren't going to allow it in their family from them.
Yeah.
So if you don't come from a healthy family, make sure that a healthy family comes from you.
Yes, you can change that. You don't have to live that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for sharing that. I love the passion. I want to know your background on how you got into this industry, how you got to where you are today. How did you find out that this was the career that you wanted? Talk to us about that.
I'm 46 years old. I've got friends that are my age that look 20 years older than me because they don't take care of themselves. So for me to tell you why I'm here, I've got to go back to where I started from.
Yes, please.
I was born in 1978. I was born 6 weeks early. I was 4 pounds when I was born. I spent the first month of my life in an incubator, fighting to stay alive.
Oh my gosh.
And I was a small, scrawny kid. As I was growing up, I was really small. My mom didn't even want me to play sports because that's how small I was.
Oh my goodness.
And then my dad talked her into it, let me play football, and I broke my ribs my first game that I ever played football in middle school. But my dad was a good guy. He got me these big football rib pads and I played the whole year. My mom still to this day, unless she sees this video, would never know that I broke my ribs when I was in high school.
Surprise.
Yeah, surprise. And then from there, I was 11 years old and I started working out. 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats before I went to school every day. And before I went to bed, 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats. So 200 of each every day from when I was 11 years old to when I turned 12. Wow. I thought nobody knew what I was doing because I had my door shut in my room and I was working out. My dad knew what I was doing, so he bought me a set of dumbbells. So from 12 to 13, I used these dumbbells. And since, remember, I was a really tiny kid.
Yes.
So he bought me a 10-pound set of dumbbells, and that was heavy for me. It was rough. And then I used those dumbbells from from 11 to 12 was body weight, 12 to 13 was the 10-pound dumbbells. At 13 for Christmas, I asked for a weight set. my dad bought me a weight set, but my dad was an Army Ranger, so there were no free rides in my
Oh.
house. He bought the weight set, but I had to put it together.
Hey, that's how you learn.
So, and then from 13 and going into my freshman year, my birthday is in April, so I turned 14. So I started working out. I spent all my allowance on bodybuilding magazines, anything that I could learn how to get bigger. And from there, at 13 to the time that I started freshman football, I started off at 5'2". I was 120 pounds. I had a growth spurt. I was now a whole 5'6", but I put on 30 pounds. So all of my friends looked at me and were like, "Oh my God, what happened to you? Are you on steroids?" I'm like, "I'm 14 years old. Where am I going to get that from?"
Wow.
So then I started training my friends in high school when I was 14 years old. And then at 21, I got licensed, I got all my certifications, and I started training people for money when I turned 21. So I'm 46 now, and that's 25 years worth of experience, thousands of busy parents that I've worked with to lose tens of thousands of pounds. Now, the reason why I specifically work with parents and now more so men is because my dad died from a stroke when he was only 56 years old.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
My dad was my best friend. I'm named after him, so every time I hear my name, I think about him. And he always told us he needed to lose 20 to 30 pounds. The doctors told him that he'd be able to come off of his blood pressure medication, but he didn't really think it was a big deal because every time that he went to the doctor's office, he was always in the healthy range because the medication kept him there.
Mm-hmm.
But the underlying issue got worse and worse and worse and worse until he always told us, like, tomorrow I'll start eating better. Monday I'll start working out. Tomorrow never happened.
Mm-hmm.
Monday never came. He had a stroke in his brainstem and died.
Oh, man.
Your brainstem is where all of your involuntary bodily functions are regulated. Your circulatory system, your respiratory system. Like, my stepmother found him unconscious on the bathroom floor. We have no idea how long he'd been there. Mm-hmm. When she found him, she called 911. He was rushed to the emergency room. And then when he got there, they took him straight into ICU and they put a ventilator tube in his mouth. He couldn't breathe on his own. So by the time I got there just in time to watch my father sign a DNR.
What's a DNR? I'm sorry.
A DNR is a do not resuscitate order.
Oh.
He didn't want to live attached to a machine for the rest of his life.
Oh, man. I mean,
So he signed this. And the hardest thing I've ever had to do was watch my father, my best friend, my role model, sign a piece of paper that says, "If I'm going to die, let me."
I'm so sorry. Would you like a tissue?
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
3 days later, my phone rang at 3:30 in the morning. It was my sister calling me. My dad had just died from a second catastrophic stroke. The second hardest thing that I ever had to do was give the eulogy at my father's funeral. So, something I didn't mention earlier. I'm a recovered alcoholic. I started drinking in high school because I wanted to drink away the pain of just my family wasn't very close when I was younger. And my mom was sick. We found out later on in life she's got schizophrenia. That's why life at home wasn't easy. And I started drinking in high school. You know, kids make stupid decisions.
Yeah.
And the stupid decision that I made, I'm a middle child. So you hear all the time that the middle child is ignored and nobody cares about the middle child. So you hear stuff like that from people saying it on TV, and then you create it in your own life. At 14 years old, I started thinking that because my older sister was daddy's girl, my younger brother was mom's baby, that I had no one to talk to. So at 14 years old, I made a decision that I was going to go out and just never be home and try to make friends with everybody. So that's why I have so many friends and acquaintances now, because my home life was not a good one. So I just decided I was going to make everyone else my friend. And when I did that, I started hanging out with older people, started drinking, got out of control when I was in high school, graduated a year late, got expelled from my high school, and then had to go to another one because I skipped so much school. I took the whole month of April off for my birthday, my senior year, and the principal was like, no, you're done. Oh. So I had to go to a different school. But the reason why I bring this up is because I started bartending at 21. I started personal training at 21. And you don't put someone with a drinking problem behind a bar serving alcohol. But I hit it. I was what you call a functional alcoholic. And imagine putting a pyromaniac in charge of a fireworks warehouse.
No, not a good idea.
Not a good idea. So needless to say, from the time I was 21 to the time I turned 29, I had 4 DUIs.
Dang.
I got arrested, pulled over and arrested and convicted of 4 DUIs before I turned 29, before I turned 30.
Holy moly.
Yeah. And St. Patrick's Day of this year, I celebrated 10 years of sobriety.
Yay, congratulations.
Thank you. And the reason why I tell you this is because when my dad died, I went down into the bottom of a bottle. And my life just got really bad. I blacked out for the entire year. I don't really remember anything. All the money that he left us, I spent it on vacations, spent it drinking and partying, trying to numb the pain. And all I did was drown my life practically.
Man.
So, yeah, it's been rough, but I've also, and then there was one day I went to Louisville, Kentucky. Like, I was trying to quit drinking for a long time. And
wait, question, did you have anybody like as a support system during
No.
those times? Dang.
I didn't have any support system. I had the court system that told me I needed to go to AA.
Oh, well.
And, well, if I had actually gone, maybe I would have seen changes. But I didn't. The alcoholic brain tells you that you don't have a problem. Mm-hmm. So I did not go. I would fake the slips. And, yeah, it was dumb.
It's okay. We all do dumb shit.
Maybe if I had actually gone, I would have learned my lesson. I wouldn't have gotten 4 DUIs. But everything that I did back then, what is the saying? Everything that happens was supposed to happen in your life. If anything else, anything different was supposed to happen, then you would have made a different choice when you came to that fork in the road.
Yeah.
So everything that I've been through, all the problems that I've faced, all the issues that I have in my whole entire life, they happen because they were meant for me to go through that, to fall on my face over and over and over again, enough to be humbled, to finally ask for help.
Yeah.
And then when I got the help, I was able to hire a mentor, a coach, to get me back on track and fix my life. Actually, a coach can't fix your life. They can put the right pathway in front of you. It's your decision to walk that path. It's your decision to show up every day and do what's required of you. So I've ended up helping dozens of people sober up since the time I sobered up. So it was really rough. It took me 15 years to stop drinking.
Dang. That's a big chunk.
It's a long time.
But you made it through, and here you are.
I did. And then, there's, when people ask you if there's one thing in your life that you would change, what would it be? If I changed anything in my history, I might not be sitting here right now telling this story, that somebody could see it and it would give them the hope that they can change their life.
Yeah.
So there's nothing that I would change. As painful as it was, it's who I am. It made me the man who I am today.
Yeah. No, and I'm so grateful that you shared that story and like your DUIs. A lot of people probably don't share that or kind of keep it away from their story, but that's part of the journey, like what you went through. And it definitely made you who you are, and you're just being transparent and honest. So other people who maybe feel ashamed or whatever it may be, they know that there is hope and you can come out of it stronger than before.
And that's the problem. People try to hide stuff. And when you hide stuff, then you're not taking accountability and responsibility for the things that happen. Me hiding all the DUIs, me hiding all that stuff, none of my friends knew until I started talking about it. Like, wow, I had no idea you were that bad. Well, yeah, I was worse than what you saw. Only thing that you see is what was on social media. There's a whole lot that was never there. I was a disaster. I've had friends that tell me, I was so worried about you. Had no idea that you went through. And like just the stuff I would post, they were concerned. But if they had known all the stuff behind it,
Yeah.
would have really been concerned.
Yeah.
Look, there are times I didn't think I was ever going to sober up. There are times that I had thought about ending it all. Thought about driving my car into a tree and just being the end of it. But with my luck, I probably would have just ended up a paraplegic, so that's why I didn't do it.
Oh, stop. This makes me so sad. But yeah, no.
Well, back then, your luck, it's not luck. It's the decisions and the choices that you make cause you to end up where you're at. It's not good luck that you ended up in this situation. Remember earlier I said you get to a point in your life and you make a decision. Am I going to go this way or am I going to go that way? Mm-hmm. So let's say something that you would consider good luck happens over here. Every decision you made in your life got you to this point here that you consider good luck. Don't discredit what somebody's been through, the choices that they made when nobody else was looking, and call it good luck, because you don't know what they went through, the pain that they suffered in order to get to that place and become an overnight sensation that took 15 years to reach.
Yeah. I'd like to ask you, how, for anybody who's listening, how are you able to help them, just so they're curious? I know you've been through a lot. I would like to know, like, the type of services specifically that you can offer with certain things that people are struggling with. Maybe the type of food they're eating, maybe mental health wise, something's going on.
Everybody's different. Everyone is 100% different. There's no two people who are going to go through life and be able to have the same program, the same plan, because I don't know what you do on a daily basis. I don't know what she does on a daily basis. There's no way that I would tell the two of you that you have to do the same thing. So everything we do is 100% customized. And everything we do starts off with getting data from you. What do I mean by data? Gut health testing. We have you go to get your blood taken, and then we run hormone panels, blood screening, DNA profiling, because we need to see what's going on inside of you. And do I know how to read those labs? Yes, I do. However, we bring in a doctor to look at the labs and explain them to you, because I understand where my zone of genius is, and I understand where a doctor's zone of genius is. So that's why we have people in place to help the clients know exactly what they need. Then we put together a protocol that fits their body, their lifestyle, their goals, and their needs, because no two people are the same. So you're as individual as your fingerprint. There's no way that if I tell you to do XYZ, I can tell the next person to do XYZ, because you're going through different things on a daily basis. And that's why the whole testing allows our clients to condense time frames. Yes, you probably could figure out how to get in the best shape of your life on your own, but you're going to have to go through years and years and years of trial and error and research to figure out what works best for you. Time is money. Are you willing to spend money up front to help you to reach this goal? Or are you willing to spend the time to figure it out? The difference is the time. You just said mental health. Talk about the emotional damage that does for someone who's tried and failed repeatedly to lose the weight. See, losing weight is easy. See, and this is what I get from everybody. Losing weight is easy. Keeping it off, that's the hard part. Because people will tell you, oh, I lose 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds. You've probably lost 100 pounds in your life. If not you, I'm sure you've got a friend that's lost 10 pounds over and over and over and over and over again. But they're still in the same situation because their thoughts, their beliefs, their patterns, they haven't changed them. Your thoughts create your beliefs create your actions create your habits, and your habits create your lifestyle. Habits was number 4. How many people just start, I'm going to go to the gym and start working out? That's like trying to create a habit. If you haven't first created it in your mind and seen it and have a plan to follow, this is why so many people never get results.
I'm guilty of that.
Or they go online and they try to Google something and get a completely generic plan that is put there as a lead generation device that people try it and it doesn't work. Then they find out who posted it and then they call that person and get their help. That's why if you go to weight loss on Google, there's 4 billion results. You're going to get just like that.
Yeah.
That's why it's there. It's lead generation. If you're on the first page of Google, it's not because you're the best program. It's because you have the best SEO.
Yes. Yeah, no, that's so true. I'd like to ask, as far as diets goes, that's also customizable again because everybody else is different. If somebody's maybe like on a vegan type of plan, if somebody has like allergies that they have, you're able to work with those types of people for any specific diets.
That's why we do the gut health testing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's gut health, allergies. The test that we use, you're going to get 400 different results back from it.
Whoa.
It's very thorough. So I'm never going to tell you that you can't eat X, Y, Z. It's not my place. You can eat whatever you want. Nothing's off limits. But if something comes back on this test and it says you should stay away from this, and this, you should limit this, and this, and these are the things that you should eat, these 2 columns are causing inflammation in your body. So if you really want to see the changes in your body, you should stop eating these. But this is the problem. A lot of people are allergic to things that they eat on a daily basis because they like them, but it's not something that they should have. I'm allergic to onions. If I eat onions, I'm going to get a distended belly and it feels like I've got food poisoning multiplied to the nth power.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Onions. Man, that's in a lot of stuff.
It is.
You really got to be careful.
That's why I learned how to cook. And I had a meal prep company for a few years too.
What? Talk to me about that. I want to know.
I used to own a meal prep company. I made my meals one day and posted a picture on social media and was like, meals for the week. And then my inbox blew up. Comments blew up. And I started a business like that.
Stop. You make it sound so easy. You're like, it was.
People know that I work out. People know that I eat healthy. So I posted my meals and there was like 20 of them. And people saw it and were like, hey, where'd you get that? I was like, I made it.
I made it.
They're like, whoa, if you make it again, can you make some for me? Maybe.
Sure, I guess.
And then a lot of people were like, yeah, me too. My inbox blew up. And then I started the meal prep company just like that.
Do you still have it or no longer?
No. I was working at
busy.
Orange Theory Fitness. I was starting my business and I was cooking all at the same time. I had no life, and I did this for like 3.5 years.
Oh my gosh, that was your life.
So I cut out the meal prep company.
Makes sense. No, and you're too busy. You got to focus on the key stuff.
It was the most involved.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. Oh my goodness. Is there anything maybe that I haven't touched on about your business or yourself that you would like to share with the listeners while I have you here? I want to make sure that we get all the key points for you.
So I work with parents, but I specialize in working with men. And it's a brand new program. It's called The Catalyst. It's the spark in men's lives that creates transformation in their energy, in their health, in their fitness, and in their productivity and their performance. So it's all about helping good men become great. Because of what's going on with what happened with my dad, I don't want anyone else's kids. I don't want their story to be my story, because my dad was ripped from our lives. We're missing decades worth of memories with him. If he just would have started eating healthier, started working out, he would still be here today. Mm-hmm. He met my niece. My sister has 2 daughters and a son. Never going to meet them. When I have a family, he's never going to meet them. So I know how difficult, how hard it is to never be able to pick up my phone and call my dad. To never be able to see him on birthdays or go on vacations with him. And I do not want that for your kids or anyone else's kids that's watching this. Because you may think that you're too busy, you don't have time, or whatever excuse that you're telling yourself. Your children didn't ask to be born. But they deserve to have their parents there to take care of them, to answer questions, to raise them to be a productive member of society. Because I can tell you right now, if something happens to you and their kids are young, they're not going to understand why dad's not coming home. They're going to think mom's mad at them. That's why they're no longer here. But as they get older and they start learning about why you're not here, they're going to love you, they're going to miss you, but they're going to be so mad and they're going to resent you because you didn't do what was necessary to be here with them, to show them how much you love them. If you're not going to change your eating habits, if you're not going to start working out because you don't want to, think about the hole that you're going to leave in your children, a hole that can never be filled. It never gets any easier. You just get stronger dealing with it. And I don't want that pain. I don't want that suffering for anyone's family, anyone's children, because I went through it.
Yeah. Man.
That's why I do what I do.
Some powerful stuff there. Man, I feel so I don't know, sad. I wish that things could have been different, but I know everybody's mental state is in a different place. Everybody's willpower is in a different place in regards to
don't feel sad. I went through all of this. It was my burden to bear, my cross to bear, whatever you want to call it. But because I went through this, the thousands of families, thousands of clients that I've helped, their families have changed. When you drop a rock into a pond and you see that ripple effect?
Yes.
I helped one client, then they change their family. Their wife or husband, their kids, then each one of them changes because now they've learned something different. So it's just expands.
Yeah.
So the worst thing that ever happened to me, I use that as a way of helping as many other families as possible. And the reason why I can sit here and have this conversation with you and you're moved the way that you're moved is because it's not a hypothetical situation.
No, it's real.
It's not, if you don't do this, this could happen to you. It's, my dad didn't do this. He didn't think that this was going to happen to him. He was in the military, so he was in great shape when he was younger. He didn't do what he needed to, and he's not here. And it destroyed our family. So it's not me on a soapbox preaching to you about you need to do this, you need to do this. It's me having a conversation with you, explaining this is what I went through, and I don't want you or anyone else to go through the same.
Yeah. No, well, I appreciate you using that very hard situation to help better other people's lives so that they don't have to go through that. That's not an easy thing. A lot of people can take it a completely different direction, and I know part of your journey is that other direction, but you got out of it.
Yeah, that wasn't fun.
No. So I'm glad that you're here to help those people who maybe are going through it, and you don't want them to have 15, 25 years of them going through that until somebody steps in. So that's some powerful stuff, and the fact that you're using that very hard life lesson experience to help better others is saying a lot. So thanks for doing that. Man. I wish I could talk to you more, but I know we're on a little time crunch here. But if you could leave our listeners with a message, what would that message be? Or maybe if you have a mantra or saying that you like to live your life by that you could share.
So I work with a lot of busy professionals, entrepreneurs, executives, people that are in sales. They travel a lot. Here's what I want you to understand. For you don't believe anything else I've ever said to you in this entire podcast. Just remember this. Do not spend the first half of your life in hustle and grind mode, amassing your wealth and neglecting your health, only to spend the second half of your life spending all of your wealth trying to buy back your health. It doesn't work that way.
That is powerful. I never thought of it like that. So a lot of entrepreneurs or business owners who are thinking that way, maybe reconsider that and hit up Cliff. He'd be happy to help you guys.
Be more than happy. Keep you alive and coming home to your kids every night.
That's right. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast and sharing your incredible story, your journey, and everything that you're helping other families and kids with.
Well, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you.